Sophie. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I transitioned my relaxed 4C hair to natural 4C hair. I realized after looking at my analytics that my natural hair videos are the most popular videos on my channel. You guys really seem to like them and I really enjoy making them. So comment down below any more natural hair videos that you want to see on my channel, whether that's like my natural hair journey, maybe like a Q&A on the natural hair community, different curl types. Like there's so much that you can talk about when it comes to natural hair, so I would love to do more videos on that. So comment down below any natural hair videos that you guys want to see from me and I will do them. So that being said, I have some tips for you guys, and without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first tip is probably the most important one, and if you would take anything away from this video, it would be this. If you're not going to big chop your hair, you have to trim consistently. Trimming is something that I definitely tried to avoid when I was transitioning my hair. Like, you can't get around it. You just have to trim your hair consistently, and going hand in hand with that, finding a stylist who not only understands 4C hair, but understands transitioning 4C hair or whatever hair type that you have if you're trying to transition. Believe it or not, a lot of stylists don't understand transitioning hair. A mistake that I made was going to multiple different salons and multiple different stylists while transitioning my hair. It probably would have been in my best interest to just stick with one. So my advice to you is find one that you can work with throughout the entire process, that understands your hair and how to trim it and how to work with it to just make it easier on yourself. I would trim mine at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, because if you don't trim your hair, it's not that it's going to not grow, but it's never gonna get any longer. So it'll grow from the root of your scalp, but once it hits the dead ends, it's just gonna break off. And it took me a few months of that happening for me to finally be like, okay, nothing's happening. I'm gonna have to end up trimming my hair, so that's what I had to do. So if you aren't big chopping your hair, that's like the #1 thing that you have to do. It feels like, at first it feels like you aren't doing anything and you're just like cutting off all of your hair, but you're not. Trim your hair at least once a month. You have to trim your hair. If it's in a protective style, obviously you can, but when it's out, please trim your hair. Tip #2, deep condition while your hair is out. So even if you are trimming your hair, you're also going to have to make sure that your hair is moisturized at all times, especially if you have porous hair like me. When I put oil or cream into my hair, it gets sucked up like that. Like, it gets sucked up so quickly, and then my hair is just dry again. So when you do go to the salon, make sure that you're asking for them to deep condition your hair. This is a really big thing before putting in protective styles. Like, when I'm gonna get into protective styles, trimming and deep conditioning should be like how you prep to put braids in your hair or cornrow your hair down to put a wig over it, because the more moisture your scalp and your hair has, the better position it's going to be in to grow. So deep condition your hair, very important. And then next is co-washing. So this was huge for me when I was transitioning my hair, and it was the best way for me to make sure that I could moisturize my hair at home on my own. You don't need to go to a stylist to co-wash your hair. You can literally do that at home. You don't need to pay money to get that done. So if I wasn't able to go to a salon or go to a stylist, like, I would just co-wash my hair at home, and it's basically just substituting your shampoo for conditioner and washing your hair with conditioner. I don't really do that as much now, just because I don't really feel like I need to, but when I was transitioning my hair, I did that most of the time. And then what goes hand in hand with co-washing is making sure that you have good products to condition your hair with. So I can make a video on the products that I used while I was transitioning my hair, but honestly, finding products is really just a trial and error type of process. And once you find the products that work for you, I would say to stick with them. So once you find the best conditioner to detangle with, or the best oil that leaves your scalp moisturized, stick with those products like throughout your entire transition process, and even after that too. Like, I use products now that I used literally back in 2015. So definitely make sure that you are using the right products, and it's actually kind of fun to like test out different products and see which ones work and which ones don't. Let me know down below if you want to see a video on products that I used, but still go out and experiment and see what works for you, because my 4C hair is different than the next girl's 4C hair, so everybody's hair is different. Tip #4, this goes without saying, but stay away from heat. Please stay away from heat. I understand that it's extremely hard to not use heat on your hair when it's kind of in that like awkward in-between stage where it's not relaxed but it's not natural, especially if you have 4C hair, because 4C shrinkage is rough. Like, it's a difficult thing to deal with. Stretching out my hair back in like 2015, 2014 when I was trying to transition would have been so helpful with like a blow dryer, but I didn't even use that. It's like when you're transitioning every single month, you're taking one step forward when you trim your hair and condition it. When you put heat on your hair, it's like 2 steps back. You really want to stay away from heat, and if you do have to use it, use a heat protectant to make sure that you're not undoing the work that you did to kind of nurse it back to health, which is essentially what you're doing when you're transitioning your hair. You're kind of like nursing it back to health, so you really do want to make sure that you're not putting too much heat on it. Tip number 5 is protective styling. Protective styling can be extremely helpful if you're using it correctly. I had the urge to keep my hair in braids at all times because I didn't like the way that my transitioning hair looked, so I just wanted to wear braids like at all times. I really urge you not to do this. Say that you have braids in at all times and like you braid, you leave it in, and then you take your hair out and like the next day you braid again. You won't ever have time to trim your hair or condition your hair or do all the things that you need to do to your hair to transition it. What I did for protective styling is I would leave braids in for about like a month, maybe a little bit over a month, and then I would leave my natural hair out for 2 to 3 weeks, and in that time period I would get a trim, I would deep condition my hair, and then I would just do that entire process over again. I hated the way that my hair looked when it was transitioning. I did not like it at all, and I wanted it to be covered up at all times, but you do have to let your hair breathe. While you are letting it breathe, I guess like you could wear a wig. Even if your choice of protective styling is like a wig or a weave, like you will have to eventually take your hair out and get a trim. Like when I first started transitioning, there was one time where I left braids in for like 3 months in a row, which was really detrimental because I didn't trim my hair, I didn't let my hair breathe, and it was just bad. Whether you give your hair like a 2-week break or like a break for a week and a half, like make sure that you are doing everything that you need to do to your hair to help it in that time period. That kind of brings me into my last tip actually, which is to come up with a style while your hair is transitioning. So when I say come up with a style, I literally mean while your hair is out. If you look back at my old videos, I kind of just like let my hair do its own thing. Like while I was transitioning back in 2015, I wouldn't really touch it. I would just let it do whatever it wanted to do. That's mainly because I didn't understand how to like wear scarves, or I didn't know about wigs back then. I knew very little about hair back then. Like you can go to my very first videos, you can tell by my hair that I knew very little about hair. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable walking outside of your home while your hair is transitioning is what you should make your primary style while you're letting your hair breathe. Once I discovered headscarves, that was definitely a lifesaver, but I discovered everything like pretty late in the game. Like I wish that I knew all that stuff back in like 2015, 2014, but I know it now, and that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. I do have a lot of videos that I can make on like how to style headscarves, different ways to wear your protective hairstyles. I'm glad that I know it now, but I kind of wish that I knew it like 5 years ago. Those are basically all of my tips. Also, the biggest one is to be patient. Be patient with yourself, be patient with your hair. Transitioning is a process and it's a long one. If you're not big chopping your hair, obviously we all know the easiest thing to do would just be to chop off all of your hair. That would be the fastest route to go. But if you clicked on this video, it's probably because you don't want to do that, and you don't have to. I didn't big chop my hair, and my hair is fully natural now, and it's grown so much. So you don't have to do it either, but you just have to be patient, and you will transition your hair. You will be fine. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, feel free to do that, and comment down below any more natural hair videos that you want me to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck on your natural hair journeys, and I will see you all this Sunday with another new video. Bye!